The day after the Springboks versus New Zealand test match in Cape Town, and I kind of just want to offload some of my thoughts that I have on the game, how I think it went, and where the Springboks need to move now against Argentina, and where we kind of are as a team. If you haven't, please absolutely murder that subscribe button, leave this video a like, and as always, drop your opinions down in the comments. Now, yesterday in Cape Town, it was an absolutely phenomenal event all round, right? Everyone was in a very, very good mood. I mean, you saw if you watch the channel regularly, you saw we posted sort of a post-match thoughts with the fans in the stands and kind of got that atmosphere. It was a very, very good day. Ellis Park, the atmosphere was incredible. Cape Town definitely got up and rivaled Ellis Park in terms of the atmosphere of the overall event. Now, I think coming into this game, our expectations of the Springboks at the moment are extremely high, right? So everyone was quite confident going into this game, but we were also wary of what New Zealand bring. We know as Springbok supporters how dangerous this New Zealand side can be. They can beat the Springboks from absolutely anywhere. And yesterday, it almost slipped. That first half, 9-3 going into halftime. The All Blacks weren't on top of us, but we were kind of our own worst enemy. We kept making silly mistakes, giving away penalties. Our handling wasn't good, and it kind of, you could see the nerves on the Springboks in that first half. They were playing for a lot. We hadn't beaten the All Blacks 4 times in a row since the 1940s. We hadn't won the Freedom Cup since 2009. So there was a lot riding on this game for the Springboks yesterday against the All Blacks. But I do think in that second half, we came out and we performed very well. Again, the bomb squad made a massive difference. Yes, Sasha missed two kicks, but if you look at the first half, we kind of kicked to the corner when we had, I think it was 5 penalty opportunities where Pollard could have lined up 3 points. So this team is definitely moving in a new direction under Tony Brown. Obviously, Rassie Erasmus is impacting that and igniting and is willing to let the players kind of play this more attacking style minded rugby. So for the Springboks to turn down 5 penalties against the All Blacks in Cape Town, knowing what was at stake, is a very, very good sign. It shows that the team's confidence. It shows that they back each other and that the coaches are willing to back the players in these very, very big games. If we just go through the players and how they played, Willie Leroux, I didn't think he didn't have a very good game. He made a couple of errors. Maybe that's just a little bit of rust because he hasn't played in a while, but I didn't think Willie had a particularly good game. I think Apelele Fassi had a far better game than him last week. And it's going to be interesting to sort of see in that 15 jersey who steps up, especially when Damian Willems is back and what that pecking order looks like. So Willie, I think, again, he was probably a little bit nervous. There's probably a little bit of rust, but I don't think he had a great game. Kane Moody missed a couple of tackles, but it is always difficult with our defensive system. The wings have to make very decisive decisions, which is either going to lead to something good or something bad. And in that first half, Kane Moody kind of undid himself a little bit by making incorrect decisions, but also there's not much he can do in those situations. So I don't think the greatest of tests back for Kane Moody, but again, he's come back. He's probably a little bit rusty. We just need to give him some time to get into it. Our centers, I think Jesse Creel defended phenomenally well. Damien Delende winning man of the match. He was absolutely phenomenal in that first half, getting us over the game line, and then in the second half continued to do that. I think in the first half, he probably kept us in the game. I think Jasper Visser also carried very well in that first half. That kind of kept us in the game. If the All Blacks had scored another try in that first half, it would have been very, very difficult to come back. And just on the whole defense thing, I mean, in the first test against New Zealand at Ellis Park, they scored 4 tries. They didn't score a try yesterday in Cape Town. We scored 2. So that's kind of just showing the evolution of the Springbok game, right? It's not often the Springboks score more tries than the All Blacks and keep them out, not scoring a try. They didn't even have a sniff in the game to score a try. So the defense is definitely looking a lot sharper, a lot better, and we're going to need it against Argentina, who just put 67 points on Australia last night. Cheslin Colby was just Cheslin Colby. I mean, he threw in at the line out. He went for a drop goal. He was great under the high ball. His contact was phenomenal. A very, very good performance from Cheslin Colby. It's very difficult to see him having a bad game in a Springbok top. Andre Pollard, I thought was good, wasn't at his best. I think, again, with this game plan evolving, Pollard's bread and butter is to take those penalties and slot them through the poles and kind of build that scoreboard pressure. But I thought he was very physical. I thought, again, not his best game, but he did what needed to be. He did what needed to happen. Grant Williams, his first start for the Springboks, or second start after that one at Ellis Park. But Grant started a little bit slow, and you kind of saw him take the ball off the ruck and take a couple of steps in that first half, which then allowed the All Blacks defense to get up in our faces, and we didn't have that much space. We then rectified it in the second half with that quick ball straight off the ruck, and as we saw, that helped out a lot, especially with Sasha in that number 10 jersey, finding a little bit of space, beating a couple of defenders. Jasper Visser, I thought, had a good game, didn't have a great game. He made a couple of errors in that first half. He picked up a yellow card, which probably wasn't necessary, but again, one of those players getting back into the Springbok lineup. Pieter-Steph du Toit is Pieter-Steph du Toit. I mean, he never, ever has a bad game for the Springboks, and he's arguably one of the best players in the world at the moment. Siya Kolisi had to provide a good performance against New Zealand after Racine trusted him with the captaincy again, even though he had a broken cheekbone, and there was a lot of conversation around, is Siya going to go soft into contact? Is he going to be able to get over the gain line? Siya Kolisi had a phenomenal game. One of the best games we've seen from Siya Kolisi in a very, very long time. Ruan Nokia and Eben Etzebeth I thought were very, very good. Although our lineouts weren't operating that well, and I think that comes down to Ruan Nokia's lineout calls. So they're going to have to definitely rectify that going into the Argentinian test. But as a lock combination, I thought they did very, very well. And then the front row, we saw in the first half, right at the beginning of the game, we got a lot of scrum dominance, but we couldn't exactly keep that throughout the game. So a good performance from the front three, not a great performance. And then the bomb squad do what the bomb squad do. Malcolm Marx coming on, scoring a try. Vincent Koch was impactful. Quagga Smith was impactful. Sasha was impactful. So it was a good performance. It wasn't a great performance from the Springboks, and I think that was kind of the sentiment yesterday after the game in the stadium when I was speaking and interacting with people, is that we didn't have a great game, but we still managed to get that result. I don't think New Zealand were at their best either. Damien McKenzie missed a couple of kicks. They didn't look as threatening, but then again, you have to give credit to our defense for keeping them out and not giving them too many opportunities. So for the Springboks to win like they did against New Zealand in these two tests, being behind at Ellis Park, managing to come back in that game, phenomenal. We weren't at our best yesterday, but we were good enough. We scored 2 tries. We didn't let New Zealand in, which is showing the dominance of the Springboks at the moment. Now, what can we expect moving forward, right? We've won 4 out of 4 in the Rugby Championship. We've won 4 on the bounce against New Zealand. South African rugby is in one of the best spots it's been in a very, very long time. We now look to Argentina, and I think some of the criticism around the New Zealand test for Rassie was that maybe he wasn't experimenting enough in the second game. I think it was important that we beat New Zealand, won the Freedom Cup, almost put the Rugby Championship in the bag. We need 1 more point to win the Rugby Championship. And now I think it kind of opens the door for experimentation against Argentina. Rassie Erasmus has confirmed that he will be sending a side to Argentina, and one side will be staying back to prep for the home leg. So I think what we can expect is a lot of chopping and changing. I think Salman Murat's probably going to captain in Argentina. He's going to lead a very, very young, inexperienced side. We're going to see the likes of Thomas du Toit, Jan-Hendrik Wessels. The locks might not change too much. I think Eben probably will still go over just because we don't have that much depth in the lock position at the moment, but we're going to see loose forwards probably of the likes of Pepsi Buthelezi might come in. I don't know where Cameron Hanekom is at the moment. Ivan Roos might come back in. In the back line, we're probably going to see Sasha start again, or maybe even Marnie Lebok. So I think there's going to be a lot of experimentation coming up in the Rugby Championship against Argentina. And I think that's exactly what Rassie Erasmus wanted. We wanted to win these first 4 test matches, and now we can start experimenting, building that squad as we move closer to the 2027 Rugby World Cup. So in conclusion, yesterday was a big, big day for South African rugby. 4 on the bounce against the All Blacks, winning the Freedom Cup. We're in a very, very good position at the moment in South Africa, and I think we just need to keep building on that. The fans were absolutely amazing yesterday. Again, if you haven't watched that video from yesterday, make sure to go watch it. I am still editing a vlog that will come out later today, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave your thoughts on the Springboks at the moment, the place we're in, and where we move forward into the future. Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.